Okay, welcome Net 125 students. I'm back again with yet another video. All right, so this time we're going to be doing Packet Tracer 2.9.1. This is the last Packet Tracer in Module 2. Now, you'll notice that in this Packet Tracer, okay, it gives us some addressing we're supposed to use for different devices. We got PCs here, we got a couple switches, and everybody's connected. Now, if you try to click on like Class A switch, okay, we'll click on that. See here where it says locked? All right, so you're going to see this over and over again in later packet tracers where one or more things on a packet tracer is locked, so it forces you to do things in a certain order. Okay, so we can't just get to the command line interface directly, but don't worry, all is not lost. We're just going to follow our instructions. And another thing I wanted to point out here is as we're going through these packet tracers and they're getting a little bit more involved, sometimes the author will tell you exactly which commands to use, and sometimes they'll just say, here, do this, but they don't actually tell you which command syntax. So you might have to go back into the previous readings or packet tracers if you don't 100% remember. And something that I recommend to people always is whenever you find a new Cisco command, write it down in a little notebook and keep your notebook with you, because I can tell you from being a professional at this, if you have like a little steno pad with all of your commands in it, that is going to make your life so much easier, because when you're going from site to site, you may wind up being out somewhere and you have to make some modifications to the equipment, and you don't necessarily always have a manual close by. So it's handy if you have a notebook listing your commands, because it's really hard to just remember all this stuff right off the bat. Some things you will remember. Okay, so first thing we're supposed to do, use a console connection to access each switch. Okay, so let's go down here to the bottom where our connections are, and you see this little blue arc. This is your console connector. So we're going to pick up a console connector and we're going to connect one end of it to our RS-232. That's a serial communications port. And then the other end we're going to connect to the console port on this Class A switch. All right, and while we're at it, let's go ahead and do the same thing for the other computer, because we know we're going to need it in just a minute. Okay, so now we've got console connections to each switch. And then it says name the Class A and Class B switches. Well, let's work on the Class A switch first. Okay, click on this computer and click on desktop. Okay, now one of the desktop applications that you've got here is Terminal. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and the defaults are fine. 9600 baud is default for these machines. And for just typing in text, that's plenty. Okay, now that we're consoled over to the switch, we can start working on it. So what we're going to do is our usual. Okay, now we're going to give this thing a host name. Now you got to type this in correctly, or else you won't get full credit. Okay, so now we're on the Class A switch. Now then, the next thing we need to do is use our command line here to put in a password. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to address line con 0. Okay, this is the console line that we're currently using, and we want to give it a password. And the password they want us to use is X, capital A, W, 6, K. X, A, W, 6, K. I think I typed that in correctly. Okay, now remember to give that login command, so that next time we log in, we'll get challenged for the password. Okay, now we're going to exit. Okay, now we also need to do a secret password. So what we're going to do is Oh, wait. Already did that. Okay, enable secret. This is going to be 6E. Oh, crud. Is that a B or an 8? B, U, P. 6-8B. I'm sorry, 6E, B, U, P. Okay, we got that done. Now we want to encrypt all clear text passwords. So we're going to start the service. Password encrypt. Okay, so now we've got that done. Now what's the next thing on our list? Configure MOTD banner. Message of the day. And does it tell us what they want us to use? No. So we can just say okay, that's probably a little lengthy. I could have just said no, unauthorized. Pat. Oh. That's better. Okay, banner MOTD is done. All right, now what's the next thing on our list? Configure addressing for all these devices. Okay, so we're going to configure, let's see, what are we supposed to be using for this one? This is class A, so it's supposed to be 10.10.10.100. All right, no problem. We're still in configuration menu. So we're going to say interface, VLAN 1. And this isn't a real interface. This is just what they call a virtual interface, but it's all we need for these purposes. IP address and 10.10.10.100. Okay, and then we're also supposed to be using a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Just standard class C subnet mask. All right, very good. Now we need to activate this interface because it's down by default. So we're going to say no shutdown. All right, so now we've got an interface address. Okay, configure addresses for all devices. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, cool. Save your configuration. Copy, run, start. Okay, configuration is saved, and I think we did all that correctly. All right, now, let's see, let's X out of this. Now, as long as we're in PC Student 1, let's go ahead and do our IP configuration for this guy. So we're going to do IP configuration. Our IP4 address is going to be, looks like 10.10.10.4. Okay, subnet mask is going to default to 255.000 because this is technically class A address. Okay, and default gateway, I don't think we need to hassle with because we don't have any router out of this network, so that should be all we need. Okay, so let's X out of that. Now, just for chuckles, let's go to our command prompt and let's see if we can ping our switch that we configured. And give it a minute to figure out where we are and what we're doing. And there we go. Okay, got reply. All right, so much for that. Let's close this window. Now let's go to student 2. All right, student 2, we're going to go to the desktop. Let's go ahead and do our IP configuration. 10.10.10.5, and same thing as before, because all the subnet masks Subnet masks can be variable. You can change them if you need to, but with one minor caveat. All the devices on the local area network have to be using the same subnet mask. Otherwise, they won't be able to communicate. So we could have just used the 255.0.0.0, but only if we use that same subnet mask on the switch and every other device in this network. Okay, so we've got our IP address set. Now let's go to our terminal application. Click on OK. All right, now we're at a different switch. This is the Class B switch. And if you've got a whole lot of switches, you definitely don't want them all to just say switch, because then you don't really know who you're connected to. So enable config T host name class B. Okay, good deal. Line con 0. And then we're going to give it a password of XAW6K. Log in. Same stuff we did on the other machine. Okay, and now we're going to exit. Okay, secret. Uh, 6E. Oh. I hope I'm not messing this up. 6E B U P. Okay, and we're going to encrypt all clear text passwords. I think on the other switch I used enable password instead of enable secret password. So that might ding us on the end. Okay, and we want to do service password encrypt. We got that done. Okay, so we've got us a banner. Now we need to give this thing an address. So we're going to say VLAN 1. Let's see, IP address 10.10.10.150 with a subnet mask of 5.2.0. Yep, just like it says up there. Okay, no shut. Okay, very good. Let's see now, what are we supposed to do? Address, save configuration. Or you can also do, does the same thing. Okay, now let's see if we can ping that 10.10.10.5. That's our computer that we're directly connected to. Okay, super, it worked. Okay, now let's try 4, which is the computer that the other switch is connected to. And very good. You'll notice that when we first did the first ping didn't go through. That's because it takes the switches a minute to figure out who's connected to which port. If we do that same ping again, then it'll just work right off the bat, because now the switches know which devices are connected to which port. It just takes them a minute to figure it out. Okay, now for the acid test, let's do check results. We might have to go back to Class A switch. Nope. Okay, it's loving us. So we enabled our secret password. We did everything we were supposed to do. So it looks like we get 98 out of 98. We made 100. All right, outstanding. Okay, so I'm hoping, and let's see if I can go down to where the close button is. I have to move this a little bit. There it is. Click on close and bring this guy back down. Okay, very good. So we need to screenshot our check results page showing all of our nice green checks, and then we can upload and we're all done. Okay, so excellent. And only 15 minutes for this video. That worked out real nice for us. Okay, so this is Packet Tracer 2.9.1, and if you follow my little instructions here, you shouldn't have no issue. All right, thanks very much for watching, as always, and I'll see you in the next one.